Dame is number one.
Notre Dame with a miracle win as the clock
Going in. Notre Dame has scored.
Wrapped up Thursday's practice in the stadium again. Want to get our guys in there. Got some work in with some crowd noise for both the offense and defense. Good week of practice. Guys did what I asked them to do. The message all week is don't be someone you're not. No need to change what you've done. Be who I remember you as somebody that's worked hard. It's not an accident that you are where you are. You get what you deserve. And if you keep working hard, you keep doing the right thing, you know, you're gonna find yourself in a good position at the end of the day. So, you know, Saturday we're gonna have to execute. We're gonna have to do the things that good football teams do on a day-to-day basis, you know, to beat a very good opponent in Michigan. So, good week of practice, and now on to, you know, we got a couple more days to polish some things up and be ready to go.
You guys get used to Notre Dame Stadium a little bit more?
Yeah, I just think it's good to be in there. You know, I think it's good to go down the tunnel and just, you know, be in there more than 6 times a year. So we'll keep pushing on that.
You had a very effective defensive game plan last year, which you executed well for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to try to adjust with that. You then, in turn, have to make some adjustments. How do you balance the line between sticking with what you know worked last year and then also being prepared to?
Well, I think you got to go into the game knowing that you can't defend every element. You know, there are some, you know, obviously some plans that we have that we think that put us in a good position, but you know, you have to tackle well. You have to do. I don't want to lose sight of the fundamentals that we have to execute and get so caught up in so many things within the game plan. One of the great things that Coach Diaco has done is kept it simple enough for our guys to play fast. And I didn't want to get into this and try to outthink what we need to do. So I think in answering your question is that you got to be ready that they're going to hit some plays, and you got to minimize the big plays, and that's really what we focused on this week.
Brian, what kind of look do you get from your scout team in simulating Denard Robinson? Who was it?
It was Fitzy, and you know, Gunner did some things for us in the passing game. Connor Cavaliers, I mean, we had some of the walk-ons in there that did a great job for us. I'd say Fitzy in particular did a nice job. He can throw the ball. He's pretty quick. Obviously, you're not going to duplicate it, but you know, we think we're prepared as well as you can be for a guy of that magnitude, because you're really not going to get somebody like that.
Was Everett Denard last year at this time?
He was, yeah.
Brian, you talked a lot. I mean, the guys yesterday asked him about Michigan last year and what's that like and all that stuff. But I guess in some ways, is the lessons you took away from USC, home, night game, all the distractions, is that more applicable this weekend than maybe what happened in Ann Arbor?
I guess it would make for a rational response to say, yeah, you know, we took a lot. We just didn't play that well. You know, we turned the ball over again. You know, if you really look at that game, our inability to secure the football when we needed to, I really would rather think of it in terms of, you know, not playing well in a big game. You know, and really that would be my response more so than, well, you know, it was, you know, a big game and you didn't rise to the occasion. I really don't think that was the case as much as we just didn't play well in a big game and we needed to play well at that time.
Everett, what have you seen from him this week in terms of his evolution, where you're trying to get?
Yeah, every day you're seeing more development from him and things that you probably wouldn't see on film. Just being a student of the game. I mean, you know, clearly we're going to get all kinds of looks from Michigan. You know, they brought pressure 47 out of 82 snaps last year against Tommy Rees. So you can imagine they'll probably be cranking up their different looks for us. So we try to give him a lot. I think his knowledge base and recognition is much better. I think fundamentally he continues to grow. So all the things that I can say that measure the quarterback's growth, other than what happens on Saturday, we're seeing that each and every week.
Brian, how do you think Matthias looked at there this week?
He did a good job. You know, he's got 140 some odd snaps. That's a lot of football. So it's not a guy that's getting the first time out there on the field. So he responded really well this week in practice. Now, you know, he wasn't put in the same position that he's going to be put in this week, you know. So he's going to be asked to do a lot more, but he's a smart kid. He's athletic. He's sneaky fast. He can run well. And again, I think the most important thing is he's played 140 snaps, and, you know, he's starting to feel more comfortable in the position.
You obviously talked all week about avoiding the noise and, you know, all that. Did you sense a different energy at practice this week?
I sensed a very similar, purposeful, you know, type of work ethic. You know, they went in there with a purpose. They knew what they needed to do. They were focused on what I've asked them to do. And I will say this. My group last year was very similar. They did a very good job in those areas. The real difference is that we're executing a little better on Saturdays. You know, we're not turning the football over. We're playing great run defense. Our special teams are better. And so there's been a consistent theme in that. And this group is the one that I thought it would be. They're continuing on that path.
Brian, the last 3 Michigan games have come down to a fourth quarter drive for them, and yet this particular Notre Dame team has been trending pretty strong in the fourth quarter. What do you feel like's been the key to that trend?
Well, I think, you know, those things start up front. You know, the being stingy against the run, you know, depth at running back for us, in particular the Michigan game where we had some fresh legs out there. And then I think the game slows down a little bit for a young quarterback in managing things, you know, quite frankly. And then I think defensively we're able to play a lot of players, keep guys fresh going into the fourth quarter. I think those have been helpful things for us.
Coach Manti.
For camp in August, do you see Shumate before you even got him on the field as a guy that might be able to fill this role?
Yeah, we think he's a very special player. You know, he's you know, we're going to continue to work with him. We'll have more time over the bye week to spend some more time with him and continue to work with him both at that nickel and corner position and allow us some even more flexibility in the secondary.
That was my follow-up. Is that it seems like such a difficult position for a freshman, that nickel spot, if not mentally, physically challenging, covering the slot receiver in the field.
Sure.
He's able. You're thinking with some extra time, you could rotate him into other spots even this year.
Yes, that's our hope, and we begin to accelerate that process, and he'll be here next week to continue to work on that.
Coach, do you keep a close eye on Manti with his new normal this week and just some of the things that he's had to go through?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot going on, and you know, he hasn't been available to the media this week, as you know, and it's just to give him a break. It's been a lot. It's been, you know, taxing on him. He'll be ready on Saturday, but we've tried to give him a break in a sense that hey, just focus on school and coming over to practice. And, you know, we've got his arrangements set for him to go home. And so we worked on a lot of that this week.
And can you just talk about him? I know you've done this in the past, but he was just put up for another student athlete award and one of the top 30 in the country. Just the type of person he is, and maybe some things that we don't see from the media standpoint.
He knows the names of the walk-ons. You know, he knows all those guys, and doesn't call them, hey, 32 or 57. He knows each one of those guys, and I've been doing this a long time. And I'm not saying that all the, you know, the great players don't know the names of other players, but he takes special attention to even know the names of guys that don't play prominent roles, and that's pretty unique.
And there's a potential tribute for him if people wear Hawaiian lei on Saturday night.
I heard about that.
That's just different for fans to be able
Yeah.
to do something like that. I mean, that says a lot for the Notre Dame community.
Yeah, it does, and the students are obviously rallying behind one of their student athletes, and that's uniquely Notre Dame. when I heard about it, my foundation was going to be doing the Brian Kelly popsicle faces made famous by Digger Phelps, right? We shut that off right away. So you won't see any of those because we want to focus on the lays for Manti.
Can you be content with having Kyle Brinza do his kickoffs out of the end zone?
Oh, yeah. Content in the sense
content
that
to
starting
let
at the
him put it
25,
out, yeah.
I can be. I think that 5 yards significantly, from a percentage standpoint, it's minuscule. It's like a % difference between the 20 and 25, so yes.
A guy that we get asked about all the time, Eiler Hardy, is he still recovering from his injury? Is it the level of competition? What's keeping him from being the next man in?
Yeah, he's, he physically has all the tools. Some guys just pop a little bit later. We expect him to. He wants to. He's athletic. He's got a great attitude. He's a team player. Just, I don't know, sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. It's going to happen for him. It just hasn't happened yet, but we haven't lost any confidence in him. But he's on our demo squad right now.
Would it be accurate to label Tony Springman as kind of your utility lineman?
Well, he can play. Yeah, he can play the 4. He certainly has played the nose. He definitely has that ability, and we recruited him as such. That would give us a guy that could do both, and he can certainly help us if we needed to get into a rotation at that defensive end position.
And health-wise, with Day and Capron.
Yeah, they both practiced today. We're physical game last week. We got some bumps and bruises just like everybody else, but those guys will play and they'll contribute.
And Deveris improved also?
Yes, he's much better. I mean, if you look at it from, an NFL perspective, last week, Deveris, he was questionable, and then, he got stepped on, and he went from questionable to doubtful. If you use that kind of vernacular, he's so much further. He's not even in that category this week. He's practiced each and every day at a good level.
Is Tate Nichols in or out of the mix with?
He's in our 2 deep.
Okay.
He will travel or be part of our travel team. So he is back practicing with the varsity.
Along the lines of Eiler Hardy, you've got so many good safeties, and some of your young guys have really jumped up there. But Badger and McCarthy, where are they right now with you?
They're role players for us right now. They're going to have to help us in special teams at this point. And, it's just, when you have 85 guys, we don't have 85 on scholarship, but when you have scholarship players, there's going to be an order there. We haven't lost any confidence in them, but if they're called upon, they'll be ready to play.